Yo, what's up, War Report family? I don't know how many people are going to jump in here on a Friday night, but doesn't matter because your man Ike Jones is here. We are here, Prize Picks pregame, Auburn versus Colgate going down here in just about 30 minutes. So if you want to get in on the Prize Picks action, your man Ike Jones has you ready. And we are going to get this thing kicked off in the proper fashion. If you're here in the chat, say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. I see my guy Jay Sears up here. What's going on, War Eagle to you? Ben Bloodworth, what's good? War Eagle to you as well. Appreciate y'all for jumping in here again on a Friday night. But y'all know how I do, man. I'm here, got my son here with me. So if you hear a kid screaming in the background, promise you we're not like running some kind of kid torture chamber or something like that. He's just having a good time, hopefully. But anyway, doesn't matter about that. What matters right now, well, my kid does matter. That sounded real like dismissive. Like, man, screw him. He all right. He's good. But now I appreciate y'all jumping in here with me. Anyway, John Brandon, Mike Hendricks, I see y'all. What's up, War Eagle? Let's get into this prize picks thing, man. And y'all know how we do prize pick style. We're going to get a couple of props rolling here. If you don't know what prize picks is, prizepicks.com is your place where you can go do daily fantasy, a lot of different sports that are available here. But we're going to be talking about college basketball today. You have to have players from multiple teams. Unfortunately, no Colgate props available for us to do. So you see, I could pick somebody from the Chicago NBA game. He just needs to get one steal tonight. That's Io needs to get one steal tonight in the game and against Golden State. And I'm going to put more on there, one steal, and we'll be able to get that one in here. But let's jump to college basketball and talk about the Auburn game tonight. Again, Auburn's taking on Colgate. We've got two different players in which we can select props for here. I think I am going to take a look at, the Janai Broom rebounds. 9 boards seems like a lot. Colgate doesn't really have a huge front court, but with the rotations that we have, I don't know that Janai is going to get up to 9 boards tonight. That feels very tough. Maybe with the points, rebounds, and assists, he could get to 19 and a half. 11 points feels like a better number here. Janai with 11 points, I think we're going to look at that one. The assist number for Wendell Green, I typically would go with something like that for him. He's been up and down in his assists these last few games. He's been pretty consistent with his points. 14 points doesn't feel like a stretch for Wendell to be able to get to tonight. I think I actually am going to do points, rebounds, assists with him because he is a good rebounding guard there. So we'll get the over on those two props right there. So how it goes is if you don't have at least 4 props, then it has to be a straight up win. You can't get a flex on anything other than a 4 or above. As far as the things you're going to have, I'm going to jump in here in the chat and see if anybody has any things that they're looking at here. Nobody said anything. You guys are just kind of talking about the game tonight. We'll talk about the game here in just a second, but let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and place this here and see what we have rocked. It says error occurred. What just happened? Probably because I wasn't signed in for real. I'll get that entry placed here in just a minute. Don't worry. But yeah, we'll make sure that we get that covered here for you, and we'll keep up with how that goes. But anyway, let's talk about the game. Let's get into the game. Again, prizepicks.com. If you guys want to be able to do your daily fantasy over on PrizePicks, make sure that you use code rapport. You get a 100% match on your first deposit up to your first $100 deposit, I should say. 100% price max, so you can double your money available right then. But prizepicks.com is where you want to go to be able to do that. Hopefully you guys are participating in the daily fantasy over there. All right, so tonight's game, Colgate. Colgate comes in not super impressive thus far this season. The one thing I will say about Colgate as a basketball team is they shoot the ball pretty well. They are on the season shooting 40% from 3, something that we don't do very well, and they are averaging 81 points per game in their league, right? So they have had games where they are putting up a ton of points. What I am hoping here is they're not a great defensive team. They're giving up 72 points per game. And that is way above what Auburn has been able to produce thus far. But what I'm hoping is going to happen in this game is that Auburn's going to be able to dominate the glass, force some shots and dominate the glass. So if we can get them into a situation where they're taking contested shots, and when we can keep them and limit them to a very few second chance opportunities, Auburn will have a chance to get out and run And then hopefully we'll be able to dominate in the post. I do think that we have a little bit better post presence against them. I think the difference between this Colgate team and some of the other teams that we've played thus far this season, if you listen to Bruce Pearl talk about it, is they do have a little bit more balance in the ability to get it into the post, unlike what like a Bradley was, where they're more of a shooting team. So Bradley, when their 3-point shots weren't falling that game, it was really easy for us to get up on them and push it out. Colgate does have the ability to get out there and mix it up in the paint and be able to get those post touches. So that's going to be something that you're going to want to look forward to in this game. But any thoughts from anybody? I don't know if any of you guys ever even watched Colgate games this year. I haven't really looked at any myself. I'm really just looking at statistics here to be able to put a picture together. But any of you guys Colgate basketball fans are out there, took an opportunity to watch any of their games, make sure that you jump in the comments and let me know how you're feeling. Otherwise, we'll just continue to talk and say War Eagle to everybody. I do see Susan Scales in here now. War Eagle to you. Charvis Phillips, War Eagle to you as well. Trevor and Tony, War Eagle to you all. Thank you guys for jumping in here and doing the quick preview of the game with me. I'm not going to be on here super long tonight, but I did want to take an opportunity to get with you guys and talk a little bit about the game. One of the things I'm hoping to be able to see, or I'm going to be focusing on this game, is how well we are moving the ball in the half court. We had a couple of games this season where we did fairly well in the half court, and we've had some games this season where we've looked particularly bad in the half court. Some of that's a product of just having good defenses that you're playing against. I'm thinking, for instance, when we went and played against Northwestern. Northwestern was a team that was able to get a little bit more physical and able to stop us in the half court. But then you get to like a Texas Southern, specifically in the second half, where it looked more efficient and we were finding our spots a little bit better. I'm also looking forward to seeing kind of how Chris Moore plays. He's had games where he's looked like really the best player on the floor, and he's had other games where he doesn't seem to get into the offensive flow. So I'm hoping to see Chris Moore be able to be a critical point for us tonight. And then the last big point for me is going to be Chance Westry. We've seen him have ups and downs and really just kind of look rusty. And that's a word that Bruce Pearl used. He said he looks rusty right now. Looking to see how his game is starting to improve as he's getting back into basketball shape and his ability to really control pace on the offensive end. Our defensive rotations have looked a little weird with him out there as well. So looking forward to seeing kind of how he does. On the ball, he's looked good. Off the ball, the rotations have looked a little weird. Let's see. Ben Bloodworth jumps in here and says, Bruce said Colgate is predicted to win their conference. Hope we win convincingly, but it might be a tough night. Listen, we haven't played really anybody out of conference yet thus far that's not predicted, outside of Northwestern, that's not predicted to finish in the top 1 or 2 of their conference. So we are playing some of the best from these other conferences. So it is going to be one of those things where you just can't, because you don't know the team, don't expect them to not be good. Colgate, again, is going to be a good shooting team. So we're going to have to make sure that our defensive rotations are sound and they don't get an opportunity to light it up from 3. Another comment here from Town Aiden 45 says, did y'all hear that Jalen is not dressed out for the game? He is wearing a mask off the side. I did not hear that, but we do have a guy at the game. I need to text him and see what's up with that, but I didn't hear anything about that. I will check in and see if I can get some information about that. Because that will be interesting. Let's see if I can see. Let me shoot a message and see what's up. See if I can get that info for you. All right. Let's see. Have the starters been named? Ben Bloodworth asks. I don't know about that either. I'll go take a look and see. They usually put them out there on Twitter. Mike Hendrick says, any idea what the crowd will be like tonight? That's going to be an interesting one because apparently, finals are starting soon. Apparently, the student section is already pretty full. I do anticipate there being a pretty decent crowd in there tonight because people are looking for an opportunity to get out and have some fun. Jarvis says, we need to have a better 3-point percentage tonight and going forward. It would be nice. It would be definitely nice to see us start to improve from the perimeter because teams, as we start to get into the SEC play, which is going to be coming up here pretty soon, but the teams are going to just start to be more physical inside with us. So the ability to get those buckets inside are going to come as a premium. They're probably going to start playing more of a physical matchup zone with us as well to try to force the outside shot. So ball movement is really the most imperative thing, and not having the ball get stuck in certain places. But if you move the ball effectively enough, you can still get quality looks without having to hoist up threes. And that's, I think, the biggest issue with our 3-point shooting is we're doing a lot of hoisting, a lot of chunking. And when I say hoisting and chunking, I mean stuff that's coming not in rhythm, not coming out of sets, not coming out of good ball movement. It's off the dribble. It is transition pull-ups. It is stuff where it's not really the best look or opportunity from that position. It's a thing where it's late in the shot clock, so we're forcing up shots, or they're contested because they aren't coming out of good ball movement. So we need to be a little bit more fluid in how we're moving with the ball, and being able to move off the ball to be able to create space in the right way. So that's going to come with them just getting more comfortable with each other, and then having a more solid plan of how they want to attack what the defense is doing. So I do anticipate getting some better shots as we start to improve that sort of thing. Ben Bloodworth jumps back in and says, pro tip, mute your TV and play the game audio from the Auburn app through a Bluetooth speaker and sync the audio with the video. So much better. Good tip right there. Super chat coming in from Tony Allen. Appreciate all y'all do. The War Report does the best Auburn content. We definitely appreciate you all for continuing to rock with the War Report. So we are going to rock with you guys as long as y'all are rocking with us. Appreciate y'all so much for jumping in here again on a Friday night. So if you're here tuning into the game, then of course you're already in a place where you're going to be locked in with some sports. So why not jump in here with the guys from the War Report and talk a little bit of ball before we get into all those things. So looking forward to seeing the game tonight, and hopefully Auburn has a good home showing here. We haven't lost a home game in a while and don't want this to be the night where it happens. So definitely looking forward to seeing what happens tonight. Interested, to see whether or not we get an appearance from new head football coach at the game. That's just kind of been a thing where, hey, show up and support the other guys. I wonder if he's going to be in the building or if he's out on the road. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out here. But I am wondering, I'm trying to see if I got an update here. Nothing yet. Let me go check Twitter and see if any of the other guys who are at the game are reporting on it. But again, I had not seen that, but I won't pretend to say that I've been kind of scrolling social media to see what was going on with that. See what the Auburn basketball. Let me check my email actually and see if they announced starting lineups. Yes, Williams is out. Jaderick says Williams is not playing tonight. That's big. He's been a stabilizing force, particularly, just offensively and defensively at that 3 to 4 spot. So that in the front court, whether he's playing small forward in the big lineup or power forward in the small lineup, he's been very big for us, and he's one of our more consistent 3-point shooters. So that's huge. So I am interested in how that's going to work. That makes this game a lot more interesting from the standpoint of one of the more or the best player, or I guess the high scorer for them is a guy who plays that 3 to 4 spot for Colgate. He's a good shooter, and he would be a guy that you would lean on Jalen Williams to defend. So that means that you're going to, as Jaderick says here, that means Johan's going to have to play more minutes. And the guy that I mentioned just a minute ago, Chris Moore, is going to be called on a lot more tonight to make sure that he's able to get in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes tonight. You're going to have to get more from Johan, going to have to get more from Chris Moore. And depending upon how much of a post game he's got, you could see Chance Westry get in here. Let me just make sure I am looking up his height correctly. I believe he was in the 6. Fredrickson is the Tucker Fredrickson is the guy that I'm referring to. I believe is what his name is. I might have just Tucker Richardson, excuse me, is 6'5". So he and Chance Westry are similar heights, but he's 215. So he's going to be a little bit bigger. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Chance Westry is going to be asked to go and do that. But that's going to be a Chris Moore matchup all the way. Him being 6'5" with Johan out there, you could see Flanagan going and playing against him a little bit defensively as well. So those would be probably the two guys, but Jalen would probably be the ideal person to be able to match up with him. So you have a little bit of a size advantage, maybe get him down inside, get him in foul trouble, because Jalen's got the nice little over the left shoulder hook that he likes to throw up down there. Gonna be that's a big miss, or not big miss, a big guy missing for us without him being in there. Let's see. Jadaric jumps back in here and says, definitely want to see the Chance from the Israel trip come out tonight. Chance Westry, when we were in Israel, was a force specifically for me in the ball pressure defensive end. He seemed to be a little reachy right now. Like he's wanting to get steals. He's being a little too anxious and not just playing solid ball. On the offensive end of the floor, he's not doing a lot, but he's not doing a lot wrong. He just seems like he may be pressing a little bit. But hopefully he can just kind of calm down and not feel like he's got to go out there and make plays every single time, but just get into the flow of the game. He has a good feel for the game of basketball. He just needs to get the rust knocked off a little bit. So hopefully that'll continue to happen for him. Haley, I see you jumping in here. P-Pass, see you jumping in here as well. I appreciate everybody for jumping in with us. Once again, this is the pregame show. Colgate is coming into Auburn or Neville Arena to face the Auburn Tigers. We are about 15 minutes from the tip here. Hopefully you guys are able to be in a good spot where you can watch the game. We'll be tuning in, of course. Might even do a post game tonight. I'm not sure. I don't have any reasons why I can't, but maybe do a post game tonight. We'll see how that goes. Depending upon how late this game ends, we could jump back in here later and talk about the results of the game. But definitely hoping that you guys are having a wonderful into your work week. If you have to work on the weekend, then I apologize for bringing that up. Mike Hendricks, time to wrap up work and watch the game. Definitely. As I'm not wrapping up work, I'm still working here, but watching the game is part of the work. So I get to be able to do a little bit of both, but definitely hoping you guys are wrapping up your work week really well and getting settled in for the weekend. College basketball is going to be king here. So if this is your time of year, if you're really big into basketball, football season is over as the Auburn football team has officially been disqualified from postseason. Was hearing rumors that they weren't going to accept a bowl bid, even if they were qualified for it anyway. So a lot of what we're going to see from is going to be college basketball. I'm not sure if you guys are into the women's basketball situation, but the women are doing really well right now this season as well. A drastic improvement over last season. So Auburn basketball, from both the men's and the women's standpoint, doing well so far this year. Hopefully you guys are rocking with them as well. P-Pass asked, if not at Neville, where to watch and eat. I don't know about the eating part, but the game is going to be coming on SEC Network Plus or ESPN Plus. So you're going to have the app to be able to get locked in with that. So it's not going to be on any normal channels, but if you have the app, then you can get locked in with the game. Again, we're about 12 minutes from the scheduled tip-off at 7 p.m. in Neville Arena. So that's where you want to do that. Outside of that, I don't know where people would be showing the game because, there's a lot of NBA going on tonight. So if you're not in a college town, I don't know if there's a place where you can go and get to watch the game. So ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus is where you want to be locked in. Gabrielle, I see you out here in the chat. Appreciate you very much. Good to see you as always. I appreciate you guys rocking in with me. Let's see here. So Jadaric, the man on the scene, he's got all the news. Flanagan is starting with more. So that would mean we're going small ball lineup. Who's starting at the 5 then? Because I have not seen the starting lineup. So I'm going to let me go see if they've announced it on the men's basketball Twitter. That's what I was about to do a minute ago and I got sidetracked. They normally will put out starting lineups. Okay, so starting lineup is Wendell, Janai, Chris Moore, Zep Jasper, and Alan Flanagan. So that's a pretty small lineup because you have the 2 small guards starting, and then your back court or your front court, I should say, is going to be Broom, Moore, and Flanagan. So that's going to be, so Colgate doesn't have a big squad, so that's not terrible, right? Because they've got one guy who's like 6'10", so we can throw a lot of size at them. But again, that means that you're going to need quality minutes from Chris Moore and Johan to be able to make sure that you have 4 and the 3 and the 4 locked down consistently. So yeah, going to be interesting. Let's see here. Damian, I see you here saying watching the game in the app while on console in MC. I don't know what the MC part is, but appreciate it so much for you jumping in here. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. Again, without Jalen Williams in there for this game, the team is going to have to play smaller, which is not bad against a team like Colgate. We're probably going to be switching a lot, but Yeah, going to be interesting to see what the paint touches look like as well as the paint scoring. Oh, JSC Mission Control. Gotcha. That was Damien replying to me back there. So yeah, man, yeah, this is going to be interesting, man. We're going to have to shoot the ball well tonight, and we're going to have to be a physical team rebounding wise when you're missing some of your size that is versatile size like Jalen Williams. So again, Chris Moore, even before I knew that Jalen was out, is going to be a very pivotal person for this game. Ben Bloodworth says Wendell over under 15 points. I don't know. I think that he'll probably be right around 15 tonight. I would anticipate scoring around 13. I don't know kind of what the it for me with with Wendell, it's really all about whether or not his 3-pointers are falling. He's going to be able to get to the hole, get to the line, so he'll be in double digits in scoring unless he has one of those nightmare shooting things where he only comes out with 1 or 2 buckets. But he's going to get to the floor, get to the hole, get to the line. So he'll probably be in double digits at least easily. But if he hits a couple of those long 3-pointers, you can expect an explosion. But I'd anticipate him scoring somewhere around 12, 13 points tonight, if I were to guess. Um, uh, Gabrielle jumps in here, says, listen to Zep on Zach's pod this morning. That is our guy, Zach Blackerby. And he was asked who he'd take with him to a fight. Was very funny. I'm sure everyone can guess who he chose. I'm going to say he chose KD, but I'd actually probably take Janai, man. I think Janai got hands, bro. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I think Janai Broom might got hands. But yeah, I could imagine KD would be somebody who everybody would want to have in your car. Actually, hold on. Let me say this, like, because I remember when it was about to be a situation just a couple of games ago against Texas Southern, and Alan Flanagan looked like he was ready to get busy. Allen might be like low key. Alan Flanagan might be the one. He might be the one that, because he's gonna have a longer reach than KD, right? He's definitely a very physical presence. So I don't know. I don't know. It might be Allen, bro. Might be Allen. I think I might have to go with him on that one. But I don't think KD is a bad answer either. I just think that's the obvious answer. But I think maybe the silent one that might really get the squabbling going might be Allen. So all right, but anyway, enough of talking about fighting. That's not important, but that is good. I might have to go back and listen to that and see how that goes. But let's see. I think we're going to get out of here, man. We are just about 7 minutes from the tip off. Hopefully, you guys are in a good place where you'll be able to watch the game. If we don't do a post game live here, we might jump on some kind of Twitter space or something like that. So if you have Twitter, make sure you're following us at the War Report. You see my handle right here at TWR Ike Jones. You can follow me on Twitter there. We'll get out of here and let you guys enjoy the game. But we will be back with you as always on Sunday with the weekend tailgate show. So you guys make sure you lock in here. We'll be talking more about, of course, all football things as well. And we'll be doing a little bit more basketball stuff too. But that's it, man. I appreciate you guys jumping in here with me as always, War Eel, and I will holler at you guys next time. Peace.